Okay, so I'm going to show you guys how we use Google Groups in a Google website. So first thing I'm going to do is open up my computer, and I'm going to go to my website that I've made, and we'll just pick one of my classes. And so this is my AP Calculus class. This is a website that I've made, and I have a Google group incorporated into it, and then within the Google group I have a lot of information, things that I've posted. It's just basically like a topic, like a blog or something, very much like Edmodo. Over to the left I've made a calendar. In the calendar, it's a Google Calendar. Every time I enter something into the Google Calendar, I can send it to the Google group and all the students get it. I also have all the documents that we use in class in a Google Drive, and it's just a folder that I've created for AP Calculus. And then over to the right we have YouTube videos that I've recorded in class or from other classes. So this particular video I did not record, but all of them are accessible through Google and the various Google apps. So let's start by making a website. So if you go to sites.google.com, and you have to be logged in. So once you've logged into Google using your LMC Laker account, I know that I'm logged in because there's my face. I can create a website, and we will call this the technology page, and I will just leave it blank for now. And this is my website. And so if I wanted to edit my website, I could just click on this, and that would allow me to edit my website. And it looks very much like a, just typing up a document. Now what I would like to do eventually is put a group in there. So if I were to create a group, what I want to do is go to groups.google.com. And by the way, all these things are accessible on any Google Chrome app. If you click on the app icon, you'll see a bunch of listings here. I could get to the same exact place by clicking on the groups icon, and it takes me there. Same with my website. If I click on this, and where it says sites, if I click on that, it'll take me to the websites. I want to create a group. So now if I go to the groups, I go to my groups, and here everything we do should be lmclakers.org, so I'm going to switch to that view. And these are my groups that I've created. I'm in AP Calculus, Physics, and Precalculus, and then there's a high school teacher group. So I'm going to create a new one for the technology page, and we will call this Technology Group. And I'm just going to call it Technology. And so this will be the group. I'm going to put in a description. Discussion thread. For all things technology. Please forgive my grammar errors. And then I can create a group email list. Okay. And the basic permissions, select the members of the groups, who can post, who can join the group. For example, if I didn't want anybody and everybody to join the group, I have these options. I'm going to leave it at anyone in the organization. Now what that means is they have to have an lmclakers.org login in order to do that. I've automatically, when I hit enter, it will create an email group that I can send to every member of the group. So I'm going to click create. And now the next step would be to invite people. So I'm going to invite people to the group, and I can just start entering in their email address. So I don't know. Let's see, Laura Jasperston. I'll probably forget somebody's name. And so, who else? By entering their email address, I'm going to send them an email that will ask them to join the group. And once they join the group, anything I sent on the group thread, they will receive via email and vice versa. Oops, it's not in the right spot. And I can add some more people later. And now once I send invites, it will automatically send it. So I've sent an invite. Now I noted I purposefully forgot a few people, so now I can directly add somebody. And in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to type in another email. And who else there? I think. Is that everybody in the high school? Computer. I think that's pretty much everybody. Now these people that I've added, they will get an email, but they're just automatically added to the group. Okay, now as you can see, it says 3 members added because those are the ones that I manually added. So now that I've done that, I've created the group and I have 3 members. I can go in here and click messages and I can start sending messages and receiving messages. I can edit the settings, email options, does it send out an email every time somebody posts to the groups, permissions, who can send what, when can they send it, roles. I can assign co-administrators that have the access to set permissions and settings and members, and so on and so forth. So for example, my TA can email people for me if I need them to, but they have to log in order to do that. Once I'm done, this is the technology group. I can write a welcome email. Welcome to the technology group. And I'll save that. And now we'll post our first topic. I would like to start a discussion. How can you use Google Groups in your classroom? And so if I click on display at the top, that'll be locked at the top. You'll see in a second. And I'm just going to copy and paste this because I'm just going to start a discussion. Once I hit post, it automatically posts it. And there is the beginning, and it's like a blog or a discussion thread. The nice thing about that is that if I wanted to send, right now I think the 3 members just received an email stating that I started a discussion thread, and they can respond via email or they could log into Google Groups. If they log into Google Groups, they just need to only access the technology page or the technology group. That's pretty much it for now. Let's do one more post. Are there any questions regarding Google Groups? So I'm going to post this question here, and I'll just copy and paste this. And basically, if I send that out, anybody that has any question, if they reply to that question, I will see it, as will every other member in the group. They will also get an email reminder, and anybody can respond via email or directly to the group. that's pretty much it, how you set it up. Now, the way that I use it in my classroom is, for example, I post a lot of solutions, a new video, update the calendar. So the other day, we're preparing for the AP Calculus exam. I've written out a bunch of solutions to some example problems, and so as soon as I posted that in the Google Drive, I posted it in the group discussion, and I basically said, here is the Google Drive folder for the AP Test Prep book solutions. And then when you click on it, it opens up the Google Drive folder that I've created, and in there I have problems and the solutions for the AP exam test questions, so that way the kids can refer to them and look at them later. And I do that with a lot of things. I try to encourage students to work among or within the group with one another. So let me give you a couple of good examples with calculus. Even with the solutions, it's kind of hard to get the right answer. So it's not uncommon in our discussion groups for a student to ask a question. Let me see if I can find one. Okay, so here's one. The original thing was, this is by Rebecca Barta. She said, I understand how to evaluate the integral on my calculator, but for number 19, how do you solve it algebraically? I looked in the solution and I don't understand where the numbers in the equation came from. And then she has a link there of the actual solution that I provided on the Google Drive. Alright, so there's a step missing that isn't spelled out. And then I responded to her question, and by the way, everybody in my AP Calculus group can see this and they get sent an email. So what I did is, once I got that, I worked the problem out by hand, filling in the gaps in the solution. So I wrote it down on my smartboard, and I said that what we did is we integrated by parts. I separated it into two separate equations and then evaluated both of those, and when you added the sum of the two areas under the curve, this was 1/2 or 1 1/2, and this side was 1 1/2, you got the final answer of 3, which was a little bit different than this is what she actually saw, and it skipped that one step, and so I filled in the gaps. And so all of my students could see that in the discussion groups. Okay, that's pretty much it. That's the final thing.